Hello, I'm Ilona, Ask Amber, founder and aesthetician, and I am running a Beauty from Within online retreat. And each week I've been inviting two speakers to tell more about themselves and what we will be talking, so you can later on watch and take away some interesting things. The Beauty from Within, the idea of it is to create a library for women who would like to find out healthy aging options, and it would be found in one place. So it's all aligned with a bit of spiritual and scientific modern things coming together to show the practices that works. So each of the speakers are the professionals of their kind, and their proven years experience and methods are showing to be proven. And today I have very special guest. She is a Claire Dale and physical intelligence book author. This is, I think now, which is equivalent almost to the Bible, who shows us how with the body chemistry we are able to understand and start to create in favor for us. So when we feel anxious or stressed, we understand what's happening with us, and with a certain physical movements and breath works, we can calm down and come into the state of strength and passion. Hi Ghislaine, lovely to see you. It is about today about that how it's possible to bring it into the life, and I call Claire Alchemist of the body. How we met, it's really interesting. It's amazing how through the small connections it's possible. So she's been for one of our speakers, my lovely Ghislaine, who is watching now as well, a client. And hi Claire, I'm gonna put you to join us in a second. I just want to share how amazing the connection is that through the work of collaborations, bringing up we work, and then I got the chance to meet the Claire in her course filming, doing makeup and hair, and just watching from the side how she works, explains how she knows every detail, what it's gonna happen to your body. It is amazing to listen. So I will be inviting Claire now into the conversation. Claire is the movement specialist, leading expert of physical intelligence. Hi, it was very quick this time, very easy. Thank you for joining me. Lovely to see you.
Lovely to be here.
How are you today?
Very good.
Excellent. Thank you for coming and finding the time to talk to me, and to the viewers who are going to be watching it now and later. It's really, really interesting, the subject of today. I'm so excited. It's something which is really interesting. And I just want to as well to mention that you are Companies in Motion, the founder, and this physical intelligence is under the umbrella what you're moving. And what I as well feel, what I thought it's very heart moving, that you are very activist of the movement and modern day slavery, which is such a big actually subject as well of the day, but that's probably for another day.
Yeah.
Today we're gonna be a little bit talking about how the body chemistry is working with us, and you are gonna be talking on the 8th of July at 6 o'clock, and something which I'm really looking forward. If you could a little bit, tell about yourself, because I haven't probably grasped the majority of it.
So a bit about me, and then a bit about what physical intelligence is, and the chemistry, and so on. So as you know, I'm Claire Dale. My background actually is as a dancer and a choreographer. For many years, I was artistic director of my own contemporary dance company, and this is many years ago. So the first 15 years of my adult life, I was always dancing, and also I was always studying physiology. And I used to think what's very important is to dance, really, to move. And if you could move from your bedroom to the bathroom to clean your teeth, why would you walk when you could dance there? You know, I was always moving my body. Once I'd done 15 years in the arts, leading my dance company, I decided that really what we know about as dancers and choreographers was worth sharing with the rest of the world, and that really the body was too far down on the list of priorities as something that has huge intelligence. And in fact, I think that as a society, sometimes we negate our bodies. We get them to carry around our brains. Perhaps we groom them, feed them, hope they won't let us down in public, maybe treat them a bit like a pet sometimes. I mean, I'm talking worst case, and I know I'm with a lot of people who now are thinking about their bodies and are very aware of their bodies. But that's a sort of general feel of where we've been. Where we need to go to is understanding that this technology of our bodies is extraordinary, that there are trillions of operations going on every single second. Our breath, our heartbeats, our brains, the ends of our fingers, the tips of our toes, the soles of our feet are all connected. They're talking to each other all the time through various means, but one particular lens or means that I like to look at the body through, and this is what I've studied and written a book about, is the chemistry, the neurotransmitters and hormones that actually, I mean, they largely dictate, chemistry largely dictates how we think, how we feel, how we speak, and how we behave. So our big mission, my mission, our mission at Companies in Motion, our mission for our new Physical Intelligence Institute and a course for coaches, and our mission when we help, I'm helping a charity that is very active in ending modern day slavery, is to bring physical intelligence, health, life, understanding of the body to every man, woman, child across the globe. And our book has ended up being translated into Chinese, Russian, Korean, Greek, German. And so we're finding actually there's a big appetite for physical intelligence, the knowledge and understanding of our body and our chemistry.
I have to agree. I think when I found out, it just makes sense. And it feels like we are only now paying attention to it. And it was like, wow. And yeah, I think it's a #1 book, and it needs to be every house, because it's full of packed of science knowledge, and when you explain it, everything makes sense. But the other art is start to implement it into your life, which is even more difficult. And that's where I actually would like to hear more your story, how you have become the master of these like a chemical games, cocktails to building up. It's really good.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think like any of us, when we learn things, we usually learn things by things being a little bit challenging and then finding a way through, and we each find our way through. So for me, the time in the dance world and the arts world was amazing. We were very successful, but it was extremely hard work, and I ended up feeling that I was on the edge of burnout, that I needed to change the way I was doing things. So all the knowledge I had, I wasn't applying it well enough to myself in my own life. And so there was a moment of transition where I drew the line and thought, I can't give away everything for my art. You know, I'd give away parts of my fee, a costume, you know, to have a different costume. I was, in a way, I was over-sacrificing for the art. And I drew a line and thought, all right, okay, I need some new standards here. And I need to, and as I did that, I looked into the chemical knowledge and the knowledge of physiology and started to put this framework together that was called physical intelligence. So yeah, that was an initial story. I always found that through leading a dance company, I always found that when I was moving, I was in the studio with dancers and so on. If I was moving every day, I was a much better leader, more emotionally and mentally stable, making better connections, creating better relationships. Mm-hmm. So movement is medicine, really. And there's a lot of new research every day that talks about how important embodiment is and understanding this incredible system.
So would you say that when you was leading the dance school and going around, you might start subconsciously, or you already then consciously started to implement those movements to lead your dancers?
I would say that we were consciously using breath, posture, certain movements to get different states in our bodies in order to perform well on stage.
Yeah.
And I noticed a byproduct that I was a much better leader when I was moving every day rather than when we were in the office. And so it was subconsciously growing as a picture.
Yeah. Coming together.
And then for me, the dance world is too small. We need to really, you know, we really needed to start to tell the world, because actually, I mean, there are certain chemicals in our bodies that, I'm thinking about one particular chemical called oxytocin, which, you know, sometimes it's called the cuddle chemical, but essentially it's got a really important role to play in how we build societies and social relationships. So societies with low oxytocin are much more competitive. They fight a lot more. Societies and groups with high oxytocin work together. They have more trust. They have more purpose. And this has been proven science-wise in businesses. And so, you know, you can probably, all of you, relate to that in your own families, where there are times when relationships are not so trusting. Maybe there's been a breach or an argument of some kind, and we feel less happy. And we feel that we're working together less. We have less common goals. We're moving in different directions. And then sometimes you can have a conversation, something will change and it will resolve. And then harmony and group bonding, social bonds are recreated. We've all been through that in our own families, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And with friendships.
Yeah, it's I can see as well when you talk, it's almost as well you can divide in a countries, because I come from Latvia. And it's been part of the Soviet Union conquered, and there has been this like a really tough competition and pressing you down, constantly feeling you guilty. And then when I moved here, I saw how compassion is here, how the attitude to the people is so much warm-hearted and genuine, and it just like felt different kind of story, and it makes sense actually that
yes.
The way how you move your it's almost as well the intelligence of the kind of atmosphere, the energy general, that the people pass each other these energies and they grow collectively.
Yes, and I think what you're talking about is how people use their power, and you've described two different ways. And there is personal power. People who seek personal power will tend to dominate and use high testosterone and high cortisol. So they'll be need for power and the threat and stress arousal chemistry coming together that creates fear in others. You described it.
Yeah.
And then the best kind of power is social power, where leaders or people, they have plenty of confidence and testosterone. That's fine. You know, we all need testosterone for our confidence and our risk tolerance and to reach out into the world, men and women. So it's very important for women to have testosterone. And cortisol, we need to know through breath work, through posture work, through calming ourselves, to be able to keep cortisol at optimal level so that we're happy in our own skin. We're not waking up anxious and worried, but we're able to have skin in the game, be excited, be passionate, but not overawed by cortisol, where we'll start worrying or we'll start arguing with others and fighting the fight. So keeping cortisol optimal, good healthy testosterone, cortisol optimal. And then oxytocin is the third element of what creates social power. People that will use their energy, their risk tolerance, their confidence for the good of everybody. And those are high oxytocin leaders. You are probably, many of you, high oxytocin people who will campaign for things that you care about. And all of us here campaigning for beauty from within.
Yeah, it's something which I think it's like we need to spread the world, like you said, worldwide. Everybody should know it, and it's almost like my next step where I would like to go is almost to create these for children in the school level, like workshops where they are able to start study these, like for girls, beauty from within, and for all of them, for boys and girls, is like this body intelligence, almost like it's possible that they are already implementing and understanding themselves from small age, because later on they so much more will be able to succeed and
Yes.
and work towards the society goals. It's something, but yeah, that's probably it's well, like later on our dream.
Yeah. Yes, I mean, there's so much about being female, being a woman, that has got a little bit mixed up. For example, last week I was reading some research that talks about how after the menopause, you know, we talk about brain fog and we're talking about aging, and all of us are trying to age gracefully and do that really well, thanks to you. And actually I read, and there's this kind of idea that post-menopause, it's all downhill from there. But I read a piece of research just 1 week ago that proves that all of our cognitive brain function comes right back after menopause. There are no lasting brain impacts, although it can feel very, very foggy during menopause. I know you haven't got there yet. But, you know, we oughtn't to believe all the things that we're conditioned to think. And that's what's so exciting about this, you know, the rebalancing of society and having our bodies as intelligent beings, that not only do we take care of them on the outside, but we understand them. And emotionally and mentally, we can become much more resilient on the inside.
Perfectly said. It's just, yeah, it's just something which we gonna grow together, and we can go into this field of the beauty and just, yeah, I have nothing else to say because you described it so perfectly.
Yeah. Well, you know, 8th of July, the key thing is putting this into practice, which you said earlier. There's the book, but how do you put this knowledge into practice? And the idea is that possibly we'll probably cover 3 different movements or visualizations, movements, 3 different things that will balance and boost certain chemicals, the ones that I've been talking about, maybe another couple. And we'll do some practical work. So if you're planning on coming, make sure you've got some space that you can move in. And we'll talk about how movement, visualization, thought processes, but particularly movement, impact. our chemistry and how we perform in the world and how we think and feel and behave.
Yeah, I it's gonna be so interesting. So anyone who is watching later, please join us because it's gonna be very valuable. And for thank you for today. Just amazing how interesting and simple way you know how to explain complicated things. For the takeaway, which of the chemicals or mostly like maybe you was saying about these chemical cocktails, but the chemical of the most important which we're not aware of, which one would you mention?
So I'm gonna bring in a new one for everybody because we already talked about testosterone, cortisol, and oxytocin, and I want to talk about a chemical called DHEA. Right, it's got a very long. It's a very long word. It's dehydroepiandrosterone, and I don't think anyone needs to remember that. And we're talking about natural DHEA. There is a synthetic version, and it can be bought on the internet and so on. I don't recommend you take that because it will mess with your hormones. It's a performance enhancing steroid. So that banned substance is on the list of banned substances actually for Olympic athletes. Yet we make it every day. It's made in the adrenals. It's the precursor for all our testosterone and our estrogen. And of course, as we age, we want to keep as much of both of those as we can. So we need this underlying fundamental steroid to support our vitality, our health, our heart-brain function. And so I want us to think about DHEA. I'll introduce, we'll talk about the link to breath, because there's a particular breath pattern that that you can use to get more of this natural DHEA. And also I read an article last week, actually 2 weeks ago now, that talks about how if you are a yoga practitioner, you will be boosting your DHEA, partly because of the breath, partly because of all the different stretches and movements support the whole adrenal gland. And that's where DHEA is created.
Wow. So good.
So we do that because, of course, then, as you said, you've got enough DHEA, so you can produce enough estrogen and testosterone, that your body needs. And of course, when you get estrogen, then you get enough collagen, and everything starts to feel
boosting up from the inside,
boosted and hydrated and young and
to keep our body younger. Absolutely, because when it's goes to the premenopausal, the natural way is the losing estrogen, and you now giving a key how to boost it back up, so it's gonna be able to produce, continue producing those estrogen, which is responsible for collagen and the chemical. It's just mind-blowing. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
It's really great. And I just as well see around my friends is so many people who actually struggle with adrenal deficiency and problems, and how it's actually is so much related to the chemical, like internal disharmony, and how we need to bring in this mindset of the breathing and meditation and yoga is the body. Because I am so humble that you joining this, because I think it is the yoga teacher, they know how to move because they've been taught, but you are the person who knows exactly why this move is so important to us and what it does to your body, how it's play with the chemical. So I'm so humbled and honored to have you on the retreat, because it's just gonna give the understanding. Once we understand, we are more motivated. Okay, I am from today or from tomorrow, I'm doing these breathing works every day, and it's just like gonna be helping me to implement my health.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it's not, when it comes to breathing, it's not only when you stop and, you know, have 10 minutes of quiet time or however you do that, but it's also when you're cooking cooking a meal, when you're doing some work, how are you breathing? So, you know, it's like we need a bit of a breath revolution for ourselves to be breathing in a way that boosts DHEA.
Absolutely. Amazing. Thank you so much for coming today and finding time. I am really blown away, and I see Ghislaine as well is here and enjoying the conversation. It's been absolutely pleasure. And yeah, for everybody who is watching later, the Claire Dale today is taking in retreat the conversation about the moves and chemistry in our body on the 8th of July at 6 o'clock in the evening, UK time. So anyone is welcome to join and to participate. This is the book which needs to be in everybody's house. It is now is having all these lines in the pages are bent because I am studying it, because it's something which definitely goes inside the beauty as a big part. It's something which is connected, because the beauty is not just the face, it's all the body. It's we are one, and we have to now put all the science things together and to bring, and as well ancient knowledge like herbal teas and remedies and things to the modern day, and start to create it together. Thank you for joining me.
You're welcome. It's been great. So I look forward to seeing everyone who watches this on the 8th of July. We're going to have a great time.
Definitely. Thank you. Have a lovely day, and everybody who is watching this and later on. So we're gonna see you on the 8th of July. Thank you. Bye.